We often say religion and politics don't mix. And it is true that we must be careful to avoid the politicisation of religion in such a way that religious faith becomes a vehicle to achieve political ends. However, at the same time, we can't separate faith and politics, as though we could behave one way in an internal world of spirituality and another way in an external world of civic affairs. Politics is about choices, and the choices that we make can't but be informed by our discipleship of the Lord. To act otherwise is to develop a schizophrenia in our identity. Jesus calls us to live with an integrity that is forged out of our continuing conversion to his way of being in the world. It's a radical way of being, and one that operates very differently than the logic around us. This difference in logic is given to us in the parable that we hear this Sunday. It's about the economy of the kingdom of God. But the divine economy is presented in this parable as very different to the ordinary way in which the human economy works. The human economy runs with a logic that those who have done well and made the most contribution are those who are rightly rewarded for their labours. Those who have done nothing receive nothing. Play the game and you get as much as you can. And yet the parable that Jesus shares with us today flies in the face of these notions. It turns everything upside down. How can those who have done so little receive just as much as those who have worked long and hard? The parable disrupts our ordinary way of thinking because what Jesus proposes confronts all we consider as just and as economically responsible. And so Jesus exposes how easily we get seduced by the principles of the human economy in which we are enmeshed. Because the principle that the one who works more should get more is the very air we breathe in our transactions. However, it's very easy for us, even unwittingly, to transfer this expectation into our life with God. And so in presenting a story that overturns our ordinary expectations, Jesus forces the insight that the values of the kingdom are not those of the human economy. Thankfully, God is not part of the economy. God is not keeping score of what we have done or haven't done. We can't bargain our way into the kingdom of God. We can't wager our way. The strategies by which our human economy works have no oxygen in the economy of the kingdom. How hard it is for us to believe this, really. In the kingdom of God, our ordinary practices generated by fear or by greed are all turned upside down. As Megan McKenna once wrote, individuality and self-worth and deals don't work here. What we do does not get us into the kingdom. We are part of the kingdom due solely to the generosity of God. Our efforts, therefore, don't win us anything, and that's quite shocking to us. And what is even more scandalous is that those who seem to do the less, who shouldn't be there because they haven't done anything, are the ones that we find there. So Jesus shocks us out of our complacent notions of what wins, to emphasize that in the end, the kingdom of God, or in the kingdom of God, all counts on God's love and God's mercy and nothing else. Also, we might ask then, why put in any effort? Why strive at all? Why try and be good? Why indeed? If it is to win something, to achieve something, then we will find ourselves indeed not going very far. Whatever good we strive for must be indeed out of a sense of celebration for what we know we have already received from God. In the kingdom, economics and gratitude are integrally linked. And so when our lives are a celebration of what we have received already, they become marked by a simplicity which is essentially hospitable. We no longer need to acquire feverishly at all costs. We don't need to look on others in terms of what they've done or what they've achieved or how well they have performed, how much they have acquired. Only when control over others gives way to invitation of others and greed gives way to gratitude do we realize what makes us rich, truly.